We're redesigning Winx Club characters and we're on Tecna. Right, and if you want to see the other ones, there'll be a playlist. Right, Tecna is strange because I remember her, yet I don't remember her plot or her side plot that would be relevant. It's interesting because I remember actually really liking Tecna's aesthetic. I also remember that she was British for a quick sec. Also, Tecna's strange for me because I always remember what she sounds like, but whenever I actually listen to a clip with her in it, I'm like, that's not how I remember you sounding. So I think I don't actually I don't think I ever found any of the dubs that I've watched do her justice. I don't find the voices that she has fit for some reason. I don't know who I have in mind when I'm thinking about it, but it just doesn't fit. So I haven't messed around with her design too much. She's inspired. The original design was inspired by Pink, so the musician. So I looked at some pictures of her and some for inspiration, and I also changed her hair to be a bit taller because I wanted her civilian outfit to look more like her fairy outfit, and her fairy outfit has this cone futuristic helmet type thing, so I wanted the civilian hair to be like an updo, and then later on I also gave her some sunglasses to emulate the visor. Now, here's the thing. How did Tecna and Musa become best friends? Is that because I don't remember that being... I remember in the show that those two actually have the most arguments and falling out, which makes sense. I like that because when it comes from a power point of view, Tecna is technology, Musa is music. Technology is all about head and brain, whereas music is more intuitive and the heart. So it's Musa and Tecna have their power sets are pretty much represent the opposite of each other. One's the brain, one's the heart. So it makes sense that they would butt heads every so often. Now my question is, were they... because I get the best friends snippet from the wiki. It might not be correct, but it's from the wiki and I'm going off of it. Right. So it makes sense that they would bicker a bit and have some disagreements. Now my question is, how did they become best friends? Were they friends before Althea, or did they become friends during the school year? If so, I would like to see that a bit more and see them actually develop. Because I don't remember that much. I remember the episodes that they're in is them having a conflict and then that being resolved, but I don't and the resolution is yes, we're friends now again. How did you become friends in the first place, please? Because that even if it's a flashback episode, it would be quite fun as how did they meet and how did they get to know each other? And this comes to a idea where the power sets of each character influences their relationships and to a slight degree their personalities and their relationships with other characters. Now their actual personalities would influence that as well, but with Tecna and Musa, where where the solid one and the more intuitive power set kind of have disagreements. Another one could be interesting, which is like if Flora and Bloom kind of had like a story arc where Bloom in the first 3, maybe 4 seasons is like hot-headed, she doesn't know how to use her powers, and she's very much quite a bit impatient and just wants to get good, basically, and has a habit of becoming frustrated and then making a mistake. And Bloom is the fairy of fire, Flora is the fairy of nature and plants. Plants and fire don't mix together, and Flora in the beginning is quite timid and reserved, and it might be interesting if like there was an episode with Bloom and Flora, and maybe Bloom accidentally is like doing things in a way where it's actually causing more harm, and like is overshadowing Flora, and she has to like come to terms with actually go like, Bloom, stop, wait, can you not do that, please, right? And having that like the fire and nature having that slight butting of heads and then coming to terms with each other, that could be quite interesting. Similarly, I mean, it doesn't have to be based on power sets either, because Stella has the very much a go-getter attitude and personality, but she also has like a slight bit of a hero complex, because Stella has done things where like she sees something and she's like, I will help you, even if the person that she's trying to help is like, I'm fine, you don't need to help me. So that could be quite interesting as well. For, I don't know who that would be for though. When I think that might have been done before, but that could be quite interesting for Flora at the beginning. It also could be for that storyline could go with anyone. But also you have like Tecna, who is very much plans, solids, everything. Tecna seems like the person you'd go on holiday with, and she would have the entire whole day scheduled and planned, and if you were running late, she would get really stressed, you know? Whereas Aisha, the fairy of Morphix, but it's water, it's magic water. It's magic water that can turn into jello. Water is fluid and easily changeable, malleable. So I can see Tecna and Aisha having like a bit of a butting of heads and struggling to get to know each other and get along, because Tecna is trying to wants everything to be ordered and go a certain way, go according to plan, and Aisha is improvising based on what's happening now, and they have to be like, yes, there's a time and a place for both of our methods, as well as like going from our personalities and our methods don't match, but they have similar like hobbies, because Tecna likes building, like making little gadgets and coding and stuff like that, and Aisha literally has a power that can build that's Morphix. It morphs and makes a physical structure. In season 2, they've built a actual like person, and Tecna was able to give the statue a brain, right? So they both have this like creative side, and to actually make the thing work, they would have to work together, and they could come up with different things that they could do with their combined powers, and that could end up being like them growing and learning to work together, learning, yes, this thing about you annoys me, but I can learn to live with it, and like them getting to actually grow and understand each other, being like, this thing, we don't necessarily get along too well, but we understand each other, and we can work together. There's a time and a place to be annoyed, and then there's just but we can put it aside for our mutual interest, and them starting to actually like get along and get to. They found they would start off struggling to get along because of opposing personalities, and then they would actually start to realize, well, we actually have our hobbies in common. I'm getting used to your quirks. I can learn to work with them, and I can learn to work with your quirks and get to know everything, right? And I thought that could be interesting. That could be quite fun. There should be room for that in the series. Plus, like, it can be a nice little thingamabob between, the world is ending, or it could be, I guess, filler episode, or like a chill episode that's just about building the characters' relationships. Or plus, like, that type of relationship building can be happening like in between, not necessarily in a different episode, but like it can be affecting the current plot of like driving the plot forward with like, yeah, the world is ending, we need to stop it. But while we're stopping it, we're kind of struggling to stop it because we're not actually getting along with our teammates properly. And that could be interesting. That could be neat. Anyway, I'm putting just a few finishing touches for Tecna's outfit, shading and lighting. Kind of wanted the lighting for the other... for her fairy outfit to be like a bit green, kind of like emanating from her like jewel as well as the visor. I didn't do the parasol type thing. I just did the side the folded version of the parasol, mostly because I think I was tired and I didn't have enough like upward space. I could have technically changed the size of the canvas, but I didn't feel like it because all of the ones thus far I've done with squares, and it would look weird to be the odd one out. But anyway, next up we will be drawing Aisha, or Lila, which is the one I grew up with. So sorry if I if I switch between those or use the wrong one. It's just the one that's been ingrained in my brain, but I'll try with Aisha for as long as I remember. But that's it for now. Have a wonderful day. See you later, and goodbye.